Hey there. I hope all you folks that are out there on the West Coast are enjoying the waves. I saw some pictures, some video this morning of Pismo Beach, San Diego when it was big there, and I grew up in a lot of those places, mostly Newport Beach, um, Dana Point, Toanny Beach, South Laguna, Huntington Beach, Seal Beach, and what have you, Malibu. And I make my wave home in the Hawaiian Islands for obvious reasons. The deep blue Pacific, right? Calm waters, mama. She gives us those waves for free. Thank you very much for those powerful energies. Tunnel riders, yeah. But anyway, it's natural how these things sort of unfold. I was watching part of a movie last night that is always very dear to my heart. As I remember it, I don't remember if it won Best Movie, but I know that there was some Oscars won. I think Morgan Freeman won one, who's a melanated being who was in that movie called Shawshank Redemption. So then all of a sudden, naturally, the AI pops up an interview with Charlie Rose, so this is all Wall Street stuff. And so Charlie Rose was interviewing Tim Robbins, who played in the movie. And the story was, for most people that know this story, was a man who was charged with killing his wife out of the heat of passion. And I've experienced this, okay, when I was a firefighter and coming home and finding the woman that I married that was the mother of my son upstairs in our bed, having intercourse with somebody else. So you can imagine, see, so... and how that all works in a much larger context of breeding, seed, all the rest of that, right? Seed packets, instruction sets that get passed on to the female mitochondria. But nevertheless, the point that I was trying that was very dear to me, and this is really in the much larger context, because I met the guy online who was the original author of the Matrix trilogy. And the original story name on that was called The Immortals. Okay. And he ran down it to me in the messenger window because we went back and forth a lot. I've gone through so many different accounts with so many different friends over so many different years, circulating libraries and information and just pounding the airwaves, the sound waves, right? Spirit of radio. So, you get rid of one library, work off another one, work off another one, work off another one, because the direction is always going to be the same, which is what I was mentioning in my video that I just put up about. It's not the time is speeding up, the atoms are speeding up. Atom, the one. Remember I talked about self-correction? So you can see how it works in counter space. We make a move in a positive direction, the atoms are going higher. They experience that, they resist that, so they counter that move. That's counter space. Negative, just like Jason Shurka, Wall Street. See, remember I mentioned this? We're always giving stuff away. They're always selling us something. That's how they accumulate energy. It's off of us. So the tension between the two is critical mass. Okay, so in other words, the atoms are self-correcting. The law is self-correcting itself. Atom, the one. Okay. The self-correcting. It naturally does this. You would hope that, right? Wouldn't you want to experience more love in your heart and soul? And the essence of your spirit to be free and not be held captive by negative alien agendas that do horrific crimes against the law of one. So this is a cosmic level cycle change. Okay, this is not just galactic. Okay. Atoms communicate with other atoms. That's why I was mentioning about how you wake up in balance, right, between the poles. Because atoms are intelligent, okay? Atoms do communicate. The atom. Law of one. Atoms that vibrate. I love vibration. That's the law of atom. That's the law of atoms. Creation energy. So they were discussing Stephen King, who was the author. Now we're back into copyright. Now we're back into patents. You know, patent, P-A-P, pressure waves, right? S waves, T waves, circuits. So Stephen King was selling, which means it's my story, right? I can make money off this story. So if you want to make a movie of something that I wrote, then these actors are going to get paid to see what the investment out of all that with Castle Rock. Castle Rock is U.S. military. Okay, the intelligence agency. This is all military PSYOP, interplanetary, intergalactic, corporate pirate stuff. Okay, that's who Charlie Rose works for. He's just a mouthpiece for those folks. So, and as much as I don't like to say this because I love these actors, because I love fine arts. I'm an artist. I'm a musician, an original musician. And so this is sort of the point, okay, is that we live in our own stories. They become a matter of record. So when you already know this as a child, that you're a free spirit, then you know the kinds of stories that an original musician, that is a poet and a storyteller, they don't live in those movies that are real, because it's real living light, which means it's not an artificial intelligence simulated copy of what we live. That's why they mine all our data. See, so they copy from us, which is why they call it a copyright, which is to copy the right-hand path of man. Kind. Okay, that's the truth of it. That's why they did that to him. See, they don't know how to create anything out of whole cloth, which is their own creative imagination. And I've mentioned this many times before. Just in my own mind right now, even if I didn't take my own story that I magnetically recorded, even though I gave a command function with this avatar, because we have the power to do it of our own free will, particularly when you represent the law of one, which is what love is, it goes on forever, because that's our vibration. You're on fire. Then you delete anything that doesn't represent what we know we are, which is what love is. So they know love is the most powerful creative energy. To live in our own stories, to live in the worlds in which we create out of what we are, which is what love is. See? So when you're on fire as a creative artist, right, they can't compete against that. And that's the point. They can't compete against that because they're not what that is. So what do? They wring their hands in knowing what we are, that they aren't. But they can use what it is that we are to make money off us. And that's exactly what they do. They use our energies by data mining what it is that we create using our own creative imaginations, and then pay their actors to make a mountain of money off what it is that we create out of infinite creative intelligence imagination. That's the truth of it. They don't live those stories. Okay? They make money off those stories by people that tell those stories or write those stories, and then they become a means for them to do what? Raise the numbers in their account, their biometric ID. Now we're back to Anna von Reitz. Okay? So they're energy harvesters. Okay? So they're in the business of selling, salesmen. We're in the business of giving love away for free. So you can see how that works between minus/plus, between two magnets, right? So I thought about that story about Shawshank Redemption because I know somebody that's fairly close to me that plays that game with them because they're playing a game against an AI wargamer. So you know that trying to play a game with an AI, when it's mining your own data of how you think, how you act, how you respond to everything is going to outgame you, which means in the end, it's like trying to bet against the house in Vegas, right? So we don't play the game. Therefore, it loses by default. Because we're in the business of giving, we're not in the business of taking, right? You're free to be who you are when you are what love is, and that's a free spirit that is in that energy, in that form, presenting itself, experiencing the love vibration because we love you all. That's the law of one. And that's what makes it so simple. But when you're in here and you're experiencing so many that aren't experiencing what that is, you're measuring why that is, because the information that is informing you of why that is informing you of why that is. And that's the difference of knowing one from the other. See? So when they experience the one, which is a love vibration, they know the truth. They know from whence creation energy, which is what love is, goes on forever, creating what love creates, because it's on fire. That was always a beautiful story to experience, because it really is a microcosm of this planet, of how people are treated here, that is against the law of one.